This agenda was not posted.
Hi, Joel.
Hello there.
Okay, what's the verdict?
Well, we have three choices. None of them perfect. So first, let me. I'm going to check my dates. But Joe, Friday is the day that the ad appears.
Thursday.
Thursday. Well, so here are the three choices. One is, so we want, something has to be available on Thursday. If nothing is available in the clerk's office on Thursday, we have a bigger problem, and that is if there's a violation of the procedures in the Zoning Act. And so whatever might get adopted at town meeting could be thrown out. So that's not a choice. There has to be something available in the clerk's office Thursday morning. So the choices are, in no particular order, that we go ahead and use now. Now, the problems with that is that it would be a violation of the open meeting law. The meeting was posted, but there's no meeting agenda. And the open meeting law clearly requires that there be an agenda. Now, the meeting was posted, so it's not a blatant violation, if you will, but nonetheless, the absence of an agenda is a violation of the open meeting law and something to be avoided. If you decide, and well, I'll let you hear all of them, if you decide to go ahead and read and review the draft, my recommendation would be that you meet as soon thereafter as possible and essentially go over the draft again with an agenda, of course, saying what you're going to do, and ratify whatever might get done tonight, and possibly even revise it slightly, whatever, but to redo the meeting in essence. So that's one choice. The second choice is to just go ahead and provide something to the clerk, and there'd be two choices. One is the draft, and clearly it can be, now we're in a whole second choice. So the second choice does not involve any review or discussion of this draft, but authorizing Joe to go ahead and put this draft in the clerk's office. We're not going to get to review or discuss, but which I represent as faithfully as possible, includes the comments made at the last meeting. Obviously, that's not ideal because you haven't had a chance to make sure that you miss anything, and you haven't had a chance to reconsider some of the things that were discussed last time in the board. And Susan, I think you were even here last time, so you may have some different input. So it is, of course, a refined version from the last one that was discussed, but it's not one that's had the benefit of another discussion. The advantage of that is there's no meeting law violation, and there's what's called a pretty good draft in the clerk's office. Now, if you go that route, then there still is a 2-week period of time before the public hearing. And so the board can meet at a duly posted meeting next week, the week after, before the public hearing, and further refine the draft. There's nothing that says that when you open the public hearing, you have to begin with exactly the same draft that was available in the clerk's office. And clearly, we're far enough along that there aren't going to be radical changes, I would assume. I don't know. But if there are, then there'd be good reason for that, and that could be explained. So you could simply have today's draft, if you will, be filed at the town clerk's office, have that be the one that's available Thursday morning, and then schedule a meeting as soon thereafter as you can to then refine that draft. Those are really the two choices. The other one, as I think about it, doesn't work. The other one was to amend Friday morning.
That doesn't work. It's too late.
Right.
I don't want to do anything that is a violation of the open meeting law, period. Especially with this subject as much of interest to people as this one is. So I think it's got to be choice. My feeling is choice B, or 2, or...
But I took some time this afternoon and really read Joe emailed us all your report version. And I only had a few questions, none of which couldn't be addressed later on, or insertions. So I would be comfortable, even though I wasn't in the discussion, I was very carefully discussing with that being posted up.
Okay, well, let's,
What do you think?
It's uncomfortable both ways. But, given the choice of the lesser of two evils, I would agree. I'd rather not so blatantly violate it. Have to explain later on that the draft we're presenting is not exactly the same.
Plus, I can't see us straight that far.
No, not on the major points. No.
I think it's just a few words.
Okay, so
So how do we do this?
well, we have to do this again. It's a do-over next week.
No, but how do we get this posted up? I mean, do we
This goes
move
to-
this, that this will be the acceptable draft copy, be posted to the town until we get a chance?
Yeah, I mean, what is the process here?
Yeah.
well, so you're at a meeting and the meeting has been posted. There's no agenda, so I guess, I mean, perhaps the best thing to do is just to have the chair authorize the town planner to make this draft available in the town clerk's office Thursday morning, or for that matter, tomorrow. Schedule another meeting.
So authorized.
So we're meeting next week on Tuesday, April 23rd, and basically just all of the agenda will get tacked onto that. It's a question whether or not, for the board, do we want to have this on first and like meet at 7 o'clock so Joel can get here assist us, or do we want to have this towards
What
the
else is
end?
on the agenda?
Well, we have 186 Meadowbrook at 8:15, and I have not heard anything from them. So I don't see us. I see opening and then continuing that hearing, and that's it. That's outside of 745 10 Cutter's Bluff. I mean, I see us just basically taking up all the business right after 8:15. So I mean, we could deal with this at 8:20.
So let's deal with this at 8:20.
Now, I have a town meeting next Tuesday, but Katie Lockman, I'm sure, is available, and that's fine for Katie. So.
Okay.
She's been working with me on all this. She's looking
Okay.
at the issues.
All right.
And so we don't have to meet at 7, is what you're saying?
No.
Standard meeting 7:30?
Yeah.
So it would be around, sorry, Ms. Patton said it would be around 8:15, 8:30.
Yeah. 8:15.
Is she up to speed on this thing?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
She is? Okay.
Actually, in the track changes, I saw most of the changes were from her computer.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So could you bring her up to speed on what you and I talked about this afternoon?
Absolutely.
Okay. That'd be great.
Yeah, in fact, she came up with some of the new additions in there as well. D&D languages.
Oh, okay.
Katie's worked out.
Good. Well.
Okay.
Short night.
On the other side's a short night.
My other question here is, since we have no agenda at all for anything, can we review anything? I mean, we're reviewing an amended certificate of approval, for example, on a project, but that's not an agenda item either. So,
I
is
have
that
it on,
okay?
only on the agenda I prepared, which hasn't been published. I had it as other business. I also with the driveway location request, but
I guess you could do other business. I mean, it's.
Is that an emergency?
In
No.
theory, you could do the kinds of items that would not normally appear on the agenda. Some boards, a lot of boards, most boards have something that says other business, but that
We
doesn't.
do.
That doesn't tell anybody what the other business will be. Some boards don't even say other business, but they'll take walk-ins, if you will, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, you can, if there are items that would have taken up that would not have appeared on the agenda, that's sort of backwards analysis. But in other words, there would have been no prior notice for those kinds of items anyway, that you could entertain those two. If somebody walked in the door right now and said, gee, I'm going to have a few extra minutes, I'd like to discuss thus and such, that's the sort of thing you can do.
And usually when we're doing a COA approval, I mean, if people really are really interested, like Jonathan would be here tonight.
Well, he actually had no comment.
Right,
But
so
was he noticed?
He was given a copy in advance of the decision.
But was he told when the meeting was?
Yes.
So we know that he was.
Yeah, because he wants to know how quickly he can
Right,
start work.
right.
So,
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. I guess the rationale there would be that this is just a documentation of something that we reviewed and discussed last week, and it's just a ratification of all of the issues that we discussed. So there's nothing. There won't be any surprises.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
the
know
hearing,
I don't
the
know if
hearing
that's
is closed.
kosher or not.
Well,
It was closed, right?
the more important thing is, you know,
No,
whether.
continue.
It was,
Oh, yeah, if it's a hearing, the hearing is closed.
Well,
no, I mean, there was discussion last week.
We usually, until we vote on the COA,
Yeah.
But there-
usually we can.
this was administrative, there wasn't even an application, so we were just codifying changes in the form of a COA. So there was never a hearing.
Well, in that case, well, I don't know. You were going to just about to
Yeah, say
say
something.
something.
Well, if it's an open public hearing, then I'd be reluctant to have it be discussed tonight.
But it wasn't.
Would it?
No, no.
Oh,
It was not.
okay.
Okay, well, I thought it was a continued. Oh, okay.
Right. Again, I mean, the standard, as I said, would be that, and standard used loosely, but if it's something that wouldn't have appeared on the agenda anyway, it wouldn't have been called out on the agenda. Then
But that's where,
discuss it.
unfortunately, because I also don't want anything levied against the planning board, we typically call out on our agendas review of draft documents, draft decisions. That's my only, yeah.
But this is not a public hearing. It's a change to what you just said.
Right, right.
So, but that, like, these people are here for a reason. What do we have to
The driveway or the generator?
driveway?
Yeah, those, I think the last two items actually are the easier ones to rationalize, because those wouldn't
Those are
typically
normally
come
things I
up.
bring up more
Yeah,
administratively.
so I think that those two I feel the most comfortable with, that I say, let's go ahead with reviewing this draft, and if somebody has a problem with it, we'll deal with it.
I mean, would it be correct that next week we actually say this is the document we've reviewed and give people the opportunity to comment on it? I mean,
You're talking about a draft decision?
right. I mean, that's,
Again, just so I'm clear, so this is something that normally, I mean, had the agenda been posted, this would not have been called out, is that
this
correct?
this would have been called out under other business as review of draft agenda.
Oh, I see. Then you don't want to take it out.
Don't take it out?
Yeah, right.
Even though it's an amended, it's an amended certificate.
Don't take it out.
Okay, if it's something that would have,
Joel's here, so he's helping them. So we're working through the issues.
if it's something that would have been called out under other business, then it does appear on the agenda, so you don't want to take it out. I mean, literally,
I'm sorry, I probably
the
should
only
have
kinds of things you would
because
take
there was
out would be
nothing
something
there.
that just wouldn't appear on the agenda.
I just,
According to your standard.
Well, there are two other items on this.
That are on our agenda, yeah.
But
Whatever-
involving
This is the agenda that was on the board.
Request to relocate a driveway and a request to install a generator.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I
the
apologize.
agenda wasn't, I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, then then these items really cannot be
agenda.
taken up.
Can't be taken up.
So once they're called out under other business, that's
Right,
it?
right.
Okay.
And it's, I mean,
Okay, I get it now.
your practice is a good practice.
So then if it is.
To call out all the other
meeting is
Yes,
on.
yeah.
on
They
the
look
web.
real unhappy behind you.
I'm not going to turn around.
Don't turn
On the
around.
web.
Sorry.
Don't blame us.
Yeah. Just an
Um,
administrative nightmare here, sorry.
Yeah, all right. What I'm thinking is, we
Yeah.
could take these three things up before next Tuesday, though. You know, this is, because we can hold a special meeting, say Friday morning or something.
We talked.
And swing. I'm sorry, because I had called Ann because I wanted to find out about when it was posted. So she had sent it to the town clerk for posting on Thursday. So she's very surprised that it's not on the web either. The agenda should be posted downstairs on the first floor. Just a meeting notice is not acceptable, correct?
Well, again, what's the normal practice? I mean, it used to be that everything got posted on a town clerk bulletin board, but then that
Right.
changed with the update. So what has the town done in the last 2
So,
years?
and can you just, I put you on speaker, can you just speak to, out to Joel just to explain the process, how we put our agendas
Okay.
with the town clerk?
So as long as the meeting is posted on the bulletin board, the agenda is never posted on the bulletin. The agenda is forwarded to the town clerk's office, and they keep it. I mean, the agenda should be posted on the web, but for some reason or other, I don't understand why it isn't. They keep a copy of the town clerk's office on file in case there's an issue, some call, whatever. But if the meeting is posted, and it's purely on the bulletin board, there's no problem at all.
Well, actually, that's the old standard. It sounds like what the town has done is it's using the web to meet the new requirements, because the new requirements clearly require that a detailed agenda be posted. So it sounds like the physical posting on the bulletin board meets the, if you will, the old requirement. But now there does need to be, and for reasons of space, by the way, just physical space, a lot of towns are doing what you're doing, and that's to put the detailed agenda on the web.
Right, we used to post it on the outside door.
Yeah.
The legal requirement. I just don't understand how that could have happened. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it sounds like we do have the same problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
All right, so.
All right.
Okay.
What
So,
happens if the webmasters?
Yeah. The webmasters control of all
Well,
town.
it is interesting, you know, I mean, we rely so heavily on all of the
all right,
So
so
American Airlines couldn't fly flights for
Exactly.
half a day today.
That's exactly
Computer
right.
glitch.
Right, so,
here's one possibility that rather than jam up next week with all kinds of things,
Yeah.
we can have a second meeting this week, say Friday morning or something, take care of these three items under other business. That would also, I think, probably keep Gifford School from going ballistic,
Right.
because all they need to hear is that something like this happened,
Yeah.
and
important things.
their paranoia would go
Yeah.
through the roof. So I would suggest that we do that we just schedule a special meeting Friday just for the last three items.
Where does that leave these poor people? I mean,
They're
can they just
in-
drop everything, or can they talk to us now?
They can't talk to
They
us
can't
now.
talk to us now, so that means that they would just have to,
Wait until Friday.
Meeting went Friday.
I don't know. I just suggested it.
So what, today's Tuesday, so you could meet. Friday.
Yeah, if we could just meet at 8:30, I get an advance, town clerk is open at 7:45, we're able to get it posted and have 48 hours in advance,
Okay.
so.
So we'll meet at 8:30 on Friday morning. It's a few days delay, but unfortunately, given the open meeting laws, this is what we have to do. My apologies. And we'll take up these last three agenda items then, and we'll put the draft bylaw on for next Tuesday at 8:15.
Okay, so this Friday, these
8:30.
3 items, 8:30
8:30.
a.m. Approximately how long?
I would say this is going to take us no longer than 45 minutes.
Okay, and that they should be first up?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll put you at the head of the line.
Is that okay? You make it?
All right, sorry. Okay, thanks, Joel.
Sure.
In that case,
Yes.
we need a motion for the meeting to adjourn. It's the world's shortest meeting.
Should I say minutes? Is there anything else? That's something we could actually discuss.
You don't have any?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
No.
I really shoot.
You want to stick around?
Well, I think we adjourn our meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.